Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. On the one hand, it's nice that there are people in the world who feel so passionately about protecting those who need handicapped parking. On the other hand, sounds like the evil man in our first story was capitalizing on a hot topic to exert what little power he thinks he has in life. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Yell at my mom about parking in a disabled parking space? Better get your facts straight, son. My mom and I are both carers for my gran. Me full-time and mom part-time. As a result, my mom has a laminated disabled parking permit in her car. It's only used when we really need it for gran. The rest of the time, it's in the glove box. The way we usually do it is, Mom and I will take Gran to the doctor, Mom will pull into the disabled spot, I get Gran in her walking frame out of the car and start walking slowly with her to the waiting room, while Mom goes to park in a normal spot and meets us in the waiting room. Same basic plan when we're leaving. We usually don't even pull out the parking permit because we aren't in the spot long enough to need it. So today we've gone to see the doc. He gives Gran her weekly shot and all is well. Mom goes on ahead to get the car, and it's just me and Gran walking out of the doctor's office together. A kid starts screaming while in with another doctor and scares the hell out of my Gran, causing her to fall over. She's flailing and panicking, so trying to calm her down is pretty hard, and it takes me, a nurse, and her doctor to get her up again. That took maybe 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, Mom is pulled into the disabled spot. She texted me asking if everything was okay, and I replied saying, "Yep, we'll be out soon." She's gotten out of her car and is standing next to it, waiting for Gran and I to come out, and I see some guy head over to Mom's car with mall security. The clinic's in a big shopping center. I see the guy standing next to the front passenger door and talking, getting really angry and gesturing wildly, while she's just standing next to the front passenger side tire, smirking. He points at me and Gran and yells, "Spots like this are for people like her! You're stealing this spot from them!" And it clicks what's happened. Gran and I get up to the car while he's still ranting, demanding the security guy do something, and I interrupt him saying, "Sir, could you please move so I can get my Gran in the car?" He stops dead and goes pale. He's effed up and he knows it. He moves, and my mom then opens the passenger side door and pulls out the parking permit. She holds it up to him, then quietly says, "If you'd stopped being a self-righteous D-bag for 2 seconds, I would have shown you this and not let you make a complete butt out of yourself." And then she turns to the security guy and says, "Sorry you wasted your time, Paul." Turns out Paul used to help Mom with Gran. He would walk her to the office while Mom parked before I moved back home to help. But let this guy just go on, because he knew my mom could handle herself. The self-righteous douche scurried away very quickly after that without so much as an apology. And our second story. 3 soldiers, a ukulele, and an army of NCOs. About 13 years ago, I redeployed from a long tour in Iraq. I was an infantryman in the Army. For some of you who've never served, I need to preface the story with a little supporting information. The Army as a whole has its own culture, and within certain career fields, infantry, there's an even more diverse culture. Let's just say it's more in-your-face, non-PC. If you're fat, you'll be told in 37 different and hilarious ways. If you forget to do something that you were told to do, you will find yourself doing burpees or some other activity to burn calories. If you did something really stupid that could render some form of official reprimand, you may find that there are 2 things that can happen. You either take an official punishment, or you find yourself doing some insane task such as taking a spoon, scooping some dirt, duck walk 100 meters to an empty bucket and putting the dirt in there, and repeating until satisfaction. Mind you, this was 13 years ago, and I left in 2014, so I have no idea the state of things now, but that was pretty normal back then. Now back to the story. When you're not deployed, you're either in the field training or back in the rear doing maintenance, counseling, area beautification, or a bunch of other things. So here I am, Sergeant OP, walking around my company area doing some standard admin work, and our company first sergeant tells all NCOs, non-commissioned officers, to meet at the battalion HQ ASAP. We head over there, and when I arrived, I noticed that every NCO in the battalion is packed into the briefing room. Before I can even see what's going on, I hear at least 10 people shouting at someone. As I walk to the front, I finally see what's going on. There were 3 soldiers, all E3, private first class, getting sharked by a mass of NCOs. I never saw so many knife hands. Inside joke. At this point, I had no idea what the hell was going on, but I noticed the first sergeant from their company tell them to sing the song. I won't lie. I was confused as hell, but I was laughing my butt off because 2 of the soldiers were squatting in a seated position and lifting these Gatorade water coolers to their mouth like giant beers. The soldier in the middle was standing there with a ukulele. Their first sergeant looked at the soldier with the ukulele and told him one last time, "Private, sing the damn song." The soldier started strumming the ukulele in a catchy Hawaiian melody and started singing a song. The whole time he was playing, the 2 other soldiers were in an iron chair and drinking their giant pretend beer. The soldier reaches a point in his song and he hesitates. His first sergeant yells at him, "Sing it!" And the soldier looks around the room. At every NCO in the room, a single tear streams down his cheek and he sings the chorus. It was something along the lines of "pissing on all the NCOs in the battalion." The entire room erupted. I couldn't imagine being in their position. At that point, our command sergeant major told everyone to leave except for the soldiers' NCOs. I had no clue what I just witnessed, but I found out when I went back to my company HQ. Apparently what happened was the soldier with the ukulele was at his company and he was on his phone. He was watching a video and laughing. Well, his company first sergeant was walking past and heard the commotion and said, "What are you looking at, soldier?" And he saw the video. The video was a recording of those 3 soldiers drinking underage and singing a song about pissing on NCOs. Their first sergeant took it upon himself to give these young soldiers the chance to perform their song in front of all the NCOs in the battalion. Note: to some, this may have been way out of hand, but consider this. These soldiers were caught drinking underage and insulting every superior in the battalion. Officially, they faced serious infractions under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Instead, they were embarrassed in the most savage way possible. Their pride was bruised, but they ended up being really good soldiers after that experience. And our last story. My manager made me fire almost all of her most important employees. I work as an administrative assistant at a major sporting goods retailer. Part of my job is to track attendance and regularly upload a report to corporate. My store manager just recently, in the last 2 years, got hired by our district manager, who she'd been friends with for years. They managed to push out the old store manager who had the store running like a ticking clock. Ever since then, it's become abundantly clear that she has no idea how to run the store, and we've all suffered for it. She constantly screws up the store schedule, bullies employees she doesn't like, and has hired incompetent friends to management positions. We all dislike her and think she should be fired. But it seems like everything she does in the store makes us look bad while making her look good. Until recently. Like I said above, part of my job is tracking attendance. Yet for years, it's been common knowledge that those in my position are expected to fail to upload attendance records to corporate because the company's policies on attendance are extremely harsh and many employees fail to meet attendance due to factors out of their control. For instance, employees who come in before we open to process our freight often clock in late because the managers on duty take their sweet time opening the front door for these employees. It's not their fault that they come in late, and on some occasions, certain employees have been left outside for upwards of 30 minutes after ringing our doorbell because the only person who could open the doors was busy or didn't hear the doorbell, which is soft. Anyway, if I should upload the attendance record to corporate, many of these employees would probably be fired on the spot by our regional manager through email because these things are automated and mandatory. As a side note, the store manager is one of the managers who likes to take 10 to 15 minutes to open the door for freight employees. We all hate her for this because when it's winter, we have to wait those 10 or 15 minutes outside the door in the freezing cold, and she acts like it's no big deal. Anyway, her district manager friend recently moved to another district, and we got a new DM who's looking to move up in corporate. To do this, she has to make all of our metrics look awesome, including attendance. She sent an email to our store manager, demanding an attendance record. I told the store manager that this could get many employees fired, but instead of realizing the implications, she told me to run the report anyway. I tried to tell her that this could result in most of the employees who had availability before we opened, who are very valuable and rare, getting fired, and she completely blew me off. She literally went as far as saying that I was not thinking straight. I told her that she could adjust the attendance on her end, as the DM clearly wanted her to do. This has been common practice due to the reasons for poor attendance. And she told me that she was the store manager, she would figure it out, and I should just do my job as I was told. So I ran the report and immediately got a furious email from the new district manager saying that I should have run the report by my store manager to adjust the records before uploading it to corporate. The next day, corporate sent an automated email with the names of all the employees that should be fired, which is not an email that our manager can either respond to or contest. She had to fire all the employees on the email. And as it turned out, every single employee with availability before we open got fired. 15 people. And every other employee in the store is a student with no ability to work before 10 a.m. So there's nobody to process our freight, which is a massive job. I got an email from a friend in corporate yesterday that said the regional manager fired our store manager due to incompetence. None of us are surprised. Hilarious how following rules get you fired for incompetence. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.